We have to be the cleaners. We have to be the nannies. We have to be the drivers. We have to be the counselors. We have to be the providers. We have to be everything, because we cannot afford what we grew up not doing. So it often puts pressure, especially if the woman is bringing more. It's okay. If you're a woman, you're watching this, it's okay. It's a unit together. If your husband has to stay at home and you use your income to go to work, it's okay. If I had to come abroad for the first time in 2025, I'll do these 6 things to almost guarantee success. These are things that are tried and tested and work, and a lot of us did not know about them when we came here. Anyway, hi, if this is the first time that you've tuned off my videos, my name is Lulu, and this is Lulu Diaries, where I share my thoughts. I try to inspire my younger self, the things that I wish I knew, and just how I go about life daily as an African immigrant who has lived 20 years abroad. I share stories for over 40s, and this particular video will really suit the young ones, or you don't have to be young. If you're coming abroad for the first time, even in your 30s, 40s with a family, I'll stick to these points. Let's get straight in. Okay, point number 1. The first thing that I'll say, which is something that you don't hear a lot, is prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. This point cannot be overemphasized. We often don't take our mental health seriously, especially men, and worse, Africans. We feel like we are tough, that's true. But if you hear the numbers, I have gone down a rabbit hole doing a lot of research, not just in the UK, like in Canada as well. I've seen videos of people who are literally depressed on antidepressants in the US for many reasons, not because the lives are not good, but if you cannot form a good social network to prioritize your mental health and well-being, you will not be able to be productive at work. You might not really form good relationships, and it's worse for single men who come here and just work and don't have any sort of respite where they can go and relax or meet people who have the same sort of ideas, thoughts, and from the same place like them. That could impact even your job performance, because what happens next is that you might not form a relationship. You might not manage to even find a partner. And a lot of men find themselves lonely, and this is causing suicide rates to go up and mental well-being, which has been so affected. Let me tell you guys this, okay? For me, I have a network of friends who I've known for a long time. But my kids really have started yearning or asking to form a group, a cluster of people that they can get on with. Weekends, for example, our friends or our African friends or people who look like us, we try to get our kids to meet up so that they don't feel so lonely, because loneliness, I can tell you, is one of the biggest reasons people find themselves unhappy even after they've acquired all the material wealth that they need. So prioritize this, I'll say. Okay, if you're just coming here, don't joke with your time. Don't work because you want to go back, because you work and you would not even see what you're working for. That's just the matrix that we're in. So prioritize your social, mental, and your relaxation time. I've made this point clear enough, I'm sure. The next thing that I'll do, point number 2, is I will make sure that I develop myself. Honestly, I have been talking about this for so long. I've been saying self-development is so important, but we're not told. You don't have to keep going to university. I've always said this, or having a degree after the next. You can do short courses, and a lot of them are free. In the past few months, I've done all sorts of free coding courses online, for example. I'm in my 40s. Okay, but I have a day job. I am learning how to be a professional nutritionist because I love to help women to stay fit, and myself and my kids. I'm trying to develop myself, and the thing about this point as well is you can monetize anything that you have. So if you already have a skill, you develop it a bit further and have an accreditation, you can use that as a source of income. You can make money from what you have Everybody has a unique selling point. Some people choose to use this and others not. But being on social media, people have approached me for the most abstract things. Somebody even asked me to give a solution to how my skin stays good as a 40-year-old. Another woman said, whatever you use on your skin, I'll buy it from you. What do you use in your teeth? And it's so funny because everything that you have can be taught. And every skill that you are given, and I know that God gives everybody a special skill, you can teach it. And let's not even talk about those things. Let's even talk about what we've acquired in school. What your profession, what do you do? Are you a nurse? You can talk about ways to get into nursing. Are you an accountant? Are you whatever you are you a social worker? Whatever your field is, you can help people you can share your knowledge. So develop your skills. If you're good at editing, get better. Sell your skills online. Photography, take pictures, sell them on Shutterstock. There's several things that you can enhance yourself, because this is going to be a side thing that will keep you going, and you would understand the impact of this years later when you realize that if you're relying on your 9 to 5 abroad, come back and tell me how it is 5 to 10 years later. You'll see that it'll suck you. It wouldn't give you the time to think, and then you keep thinking that you're getting there. You've saved, something happens, and that money goes. You have a leak in your house, you have your car has a problem, all that money goes and you're back to zero. But having a side thing that you can monetize is very important. Develop yourself. Think about a cost today that you can do, and don't wait for tomorrow. The third thing that I'll say very close to this point is, if you're coming here, if you're young or whatever, think about vocational courses. Think out of the usual box. There's a running joke that might not be funny for men who are not very handy at home, but a lot of women, if you ask them that, what is your ideal partner, even on dating websites, men who say that they are good at home, they're good and they're saying that join us, they get snapped so quickly. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why is it that men who are good at home, we call them handy men, why do they get snapped so quickly by women? Even women who are celebrities talk about having a man who can fix a leak. It's because not only is it expensive, it's good for a man in the house, for example, or a woman. We are equal nowadays, aren't we? To have a skill that is you can monetize or you can use, not only to go and sell your services, but at home. Okay, when you move, people now are into buying older houses, for example, and doing them up, either selling them or renting them or moving in themselves. I spoke to some guy thanks to this channel, and I'll share his story. He's into property, and he said he is now a plumber. He's got his accreditation, he's an electrician. He's everything because he has properties everywhere. He uses it at home as well, and what that has done to his pockets, it can. There's some houses that I see now, I want that house, but I know that we are not really handy. When I say we, me and my other half, we will pay somebody to do it. But when we think about what we will tell our younger selves or our kids is, come here and graft hard. Don't put your nose up on things like builders, joiners like carpenters, even electricians, plumbers, gasware engineers, welding, anything that you use your hands. And this is for women as well. If you are talented with maybe your hands, baking, pastries, things that you can sell, even cooking. If you cook well, you can always have like a side thing. If you are good at makeup, good at planning events, I've been saying this, enhance it further. If you have to go for a master class on how to bake or how to cook or how to do this, how to do desserts, whatever it is, please stop sitting down and waiting for your 9 to 5 to do it, because it ain't gonna do it for you. I can tell you that for a fact. We all are beginning to do that now, but if you can do that sooner rather than later, time waits for nobody. The other thing I'm going to talk about is, if you're coming to this country for the first time, you're young, you're alone, remember that the most important people in your life is your family, but more so your spouse, because you might not have kids. Whoever you marry will determine a lot about how your life goes, and it's worse abroad because back home you don't marry one person, you marry into the family, so you have advice from people who you solicited and unsolicited advice, which kind of puts people together because we live in a communal environment. But abroad it's just you and your spouse. If things don't work out, it's bad. If things work out, beautiful. This is not just because you need a hand to somebody to to help. No, it's because it would make a difference even with your kids' upbringing. If you can have a partner where one person works, somebody stays at home, having that understanding, sharing the same vision, sharing the same goals. You might decide to send your kids back home and you guys both agree. Having a partner that you can make it work abroad with, you've won the jackpot. I have seen stories even in the news recently. A doctor in the US, I'm not going to go down that story, who apparently, again, I don't know about the facts, but he committed suicide due to custody battles and paying monthly maintenance for the kids, child support. It's inevitable, yes, that people would separate, but abroad it gets worse because we are under pressure. We are constantly scrutinized. We're constantly having to do things that we would normally not do ourselves. We're constantly having to compensate. We have to be the cleaners, we have to be the nannies, we have to be the drivers, we have to be the counselors, we have to be the providers, we have to be everything because we cannot afford what we grew up not doing. So it often puts pressure, especially if the woman is bringing more. It's okay if you're a woman, you're watching this, it's okay. It's a unit together. It's a unit. If your husband has to stay at home and you use your income to go to work and let the kids have the best of both, people even decide for a spouse to homeschool kids, to do the school runs, work. I really enjoyed this when I came here because there were times that I would stay at home and the time my husband stayed at home for me to get my career. You guys must work together before you get entangled in any relationship. As a young person, just hear what I'm saying. Do you guys share the same values? Don't let lust and instant, I don't know what word to use, to blind what you will regret in the future. Just remember this, my voice, when you're thinking about moving in with somebody. Yes, it could be good, but you'd rather be single than be in an unhappy relationship, worse in the abroad, okay? Because you guys get very tangled with many things together. Last thing that I'll do if I came here is I will learn about finances, the basics. I'll try to be financially savvy. Things like interest rates, APR, what are you borrowing, equity, those basic things, assets, liabilities, understanding money as you get in will avoid you from getting into ridiculous debts, because you might see something, it looks so good, you can get it immediately, your credit is good, and you go for it. You don't even know what you're paying in terms of your interest. You don't know what your APR is. You don't know if it's variable. You don't know if it's fixed. You don't know what you end up paying in the bulk, how long you paid for. That sort of financial savviness is it's very lacking for new immigrants, because we're not into borrowing back home. We don't have the same financial structures, so we often get misled, and that could lead to major issues in the long term, and nobody is going to help you. So educate yourself, because sometimes you see young people driving big cars and they don't realize that that's not an asset, it's a liability. Once you drive a brand new car out of the garage, you've lost so much money from it. You don't know that. Are you at that point where you can afford a new car? Only wealthy people can do that. How do you build wealth? Not by having money. It's by building wealth on bricks and layers, on investments. Those are little things that we need to be taught. What is a liability? What is an asset? An asset is if you decide to maybe buy a home. It's not for now. It's for the future. It's for building wealth. That at least can justify you buying that. And also, always live below your means. This is still on the same point of financial savviness for new people. If you can afford a £300,000 house, buy a £150,000 house. If you don't want to be trapped here like some of us in the future, do this, because it will not only give the flexibility to be able to make decisions when you want. You can always build a buffer for an emergency fund. You must have an emergency fund. It is absolutely compulsory to have an emergency fund. Anything can happen. your car can go down. Anything can happen. Your house, if you bought a new house, it could leak. You could spend £10,000. You can have a boiler to be replaced, especially if it's not a brand new house. A lot can happen. You can lose a loved one back home. You need to travel. Anything. Build an emergency fund. So always live below your means and always use the 70-20-10 rule. Okay, 70 what you use every day, 20 probably investment, 10 savings. I have a video that I've broken this down in granular detail. I'm going to place that here. So if this video helped you, that video is going to help you. So go watch it. And if you enjoyed this video, give us a like, consider subscribing, and thank you guys for all the love, all the support. I don't take you guys for granted. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. Put your comments, let's interact, and oh, I love you guys. I love your support, and thanks. Bye bye.